Okay, we are back at the Bulova headquarters here in the Empire State Building. I am with Alex Asta, a former professional tennis player and currently a tennis coach, correct?
Yes.
He is a native New Yorker, and we are going to go through his collection. He has some really very interesting watches here. Alex, tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit how you collect.
Well, it's a pretty cool story. The first watch I had, it was a toy watch when I was 6 years old. Back then we were living in Ecuador, and my dad bought me, I was so into cars. My dad was a car racer, so, and I raced go-karts back there too. He just bought me this watch that was a car, and you could take it out and you can like play with it, but it had like a digital display in it its whole time. Then like a couple months after, he showed up with a Casio, and it wasn't digital actually. It was like with the regular analog and everything, And I started falling in love with it, and so I asked him like, "Can I you're constantly getting watches?" He wasn't like, he was a big watch guy, but nothing expensive out of the ordinary. I mean, we didn't have like that much money back then. But I asked him like, just buy a kid's watch every time you do that. And by the time I was 10, 12, I had like 20 watches.
Oh wow! Let's get right into your collection. We're going to start with an Accutron.
The Accutron, yes.
So this is an Accutron 2020?
Yes. I love this watch. I was actually, back when I told you when I bought my Bulgarian, it got messed up the first day. I went to one of the Red Bar meetings, and one of the guys had this on a brown strap, and it just blew my mind. I mean, you see, now if we pull this out and you pull it back in.
The sweep second is amazing on this watch.
It's like the
electrostatic
one.
movement, yeah.
It's ridiculous. And you see like the three turbines, like this one just goes around and the other two oscillate. It just like captured my eye right away. Mm-hmm. It just killed me, Like I thought, is it big? It's 43 millimeters, but I thought it would look good. And when I started doing some research about it and with the whole electrostatic movement and everything, and I saw like the older ones, they were more like relics already, and they were more expensive. Like I do so much stuff, like like I cook, I play tennis, I play music. I'm very dispersed with everything, and I didn't know about this. And when I saw it, I was like, I gotta have that.
Yep.
And I got it like right. I think I told you when I got it. I got it like probably like 2 weeks after I went there.
I do that all the time.
Yeah.
See a watch, you gotta have it, and you get obsessed until you buy it. So here's a really, really cool watch that you do not see very often.
You're totally right.
This is a Longines. This is the. Is this a heritage model, or
it's It's a master collection, but it's a master heritage.
Master heritage, right?
Yeah. But I remember buying this watch and just looking at the second hand, like coming back. I mean, I bought this a long time ago, like before I was like really into watches, and I just thought it looked cool.
So you have a retrograde date.
Yes.
You have a retrograde day.
Yes.
You have a retrograde seconds.
And that's the GMT.
And this is a retrograde GMT.
Yes.
So really the time, and then everything else is retrograde.
I thought that was super interesting.
Right. So it's a collar GMT on top. So this is a really
no joke.
very interesting watch that you don't see very often.
And the price range is ridiculous. I mean, now it's more expensive, but the retail was $2,600 back then.
That's insane.
I really like the blue hands.
All the hands are blue.
Not all of them, just the hour and all the hands blue.
I think all the hands are blue. Yeah.
No, these hands are black. The only blue ones are the hour and the minute.
I think all of them are blue.
Am I colorblind? Okay, they're all blue.
Yeah, they are. They are all blue. Don't worry about it. You learned something about your watch today.
I got to see it in a better light. Thank you, Chris.
So, that is an amazing watch. And again, a watch that you never see. You're going to see a theme in this collection. All of these watches are really interesting watches. And this is another very interesting watch that, again, I've never seen. I've seen so many watches, and especially since it's a Citizen, I would have expected to have known what this is, but this is the first time I've ever seen it. It's a golf watch from Citizen. Tell us about that.
Exactly, yes. So it's an Eco Drive, and we all know what that is. Mm-hmm. the dial is made out of the same material a golf ball is made of. You can see it. I don't know if I show on the camera, but
yeah, you can actually see that. Yeah, that
it's a
it has little dimples on it. And it looks like a golf ball.
So this watch is particularly important for me. The easiest watch that I can play tennis with. I was telling you earlier, it's a lefty watch, if you see it. I love it. It's titanium, so it weighs nothing. I mean, if I throw it across the room, it'll probably stop before it hits the wall, like the Richard Mills.
Right.
And when you put it on, so I do play golf, but I actually don't like playing golf with a watch. I even have like the golf watch, and I take the strap off and I just put it in my pocket, just the case. So this watch is designed with the crown on this side, so when you take it, when you do the backswing, the crown doesn't stick in your wrist. This was the first watch that I said, okay, like I can play tennis and it feels like I have nothing on my wrist.
So okay, moving on to the next watch. This is a watch that I basically can explain myself because I used to actually work with this company very closely, and it's the way that I became friends with you, sort of, because this is a watch that actually belonged to my friend Bobby.
Yes.
And
which,
Bobby,
by the way, sent his apologies. He said that he should be here, and he's terribly sorry he couldn't make it.
That's I understand. It's he has very good reasons for not being here, but. Vicentera, this is a watch with a tiny grade 5 titanium globe. It's made in grade 5 titanium. It's powered by a Sellita. Well, actually, it's an ETA 2892, but it has a proprietary module that they put on top. There's a lot that goes into the watch. Not an incredibly expensive watch. This specific one, which is like around $4,000 when it came out. This was his watch, and that's how I became friends with Bobby. Bobby is the Red Bar Bahamas chapter lead.
You said that you met Bobby because of this watch.
Because of this watch, he started following me here on YouTube. As one of the first videos I did was about this watch because it was a watch that I had in my collection. And
I love it.
You traded him a Bamford.
The Bamford Red Bar edition, which I haven't seen him wear in a while, and I'm going to ask him if he still has it because I want it back.
All right, you're gonna buy it back. You're gonna trade him back this watch.
No chance. No. I'm just gonna give him cash for it.
This is just a really weird, interesting, very small micro brand that do not make a lot of watches. And when you order one of these watches, I got to tell you, it's not that easy. You have to wait a while. It's a subscription and all that jazz. But marketing, there is none. So no one knows what they are, who they are, and they've just come out with a new watch. Crazy. They're charging like $16,000 for it now, and I mean,
remember you mentioned that. Yeah, it's a lot of money for that watch. I'd rather get something else for that money.
Speaking of interesting watches, this is a Xeno. Now, this is a brand that probably a lot of people have never heard of. It is a very small brand. They made a watch that the case was made in Germany, and they used a Russian alarm movement, and that was a watch that I had. It was a pilot's watch.
That sounds
and that's how I know. Yeah, that's how I know about the brand. But this is a really interesting watch because this is a. Tell us about it.
So they started the production of this watch in 1974. They did about 500 of them, and they presented it in Basel of 1975, and it wasn't a huge hit. It wasn't until 1977 where they said like we need more, but it wasn't like a big deal, so they did 100 more only. So it's like 600 of them going around in the world. And the super interesting thing about this watch is like so it's a tennis watch. It has 4 subdials, right? And okay, look at this. This is super interesting. So let's say you and I are playing a match. So do you want to be dark or you want to be like
whatever.
Okay, so Chris, you're here. So it's your serve. You see? So I'm moving the bezel over. Now, you see the subdials is they're the score. So let's say you win the first point, you serve, 15 love for you. Then serve and volley, you win the point, boom, 30 love. Then you double fold. 30-15, 30 all. Then you ace me twice. Game. So it's 1 love for you on the other dial, right? Then you don't have to go all the way around. It sets back to 0 right at 6 o'clock on the subdials, right? And then then it's my serve. So we move over here on the bezel, and then we start over. Then here, 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 and then if I win the game, it's 1 all. So that's how you keep score. It looks like a kid drew this. Look at there's like the proportions and dials and nothing is like...
Nothing is aligned perfectly.
It's like super...
But it's a vintage watch. That's kind of... Is it a vintage watch or is this neo-vintage?
No. Well, it's 1974.
So, vintage watch, yeah. Is this automatic?
No, it's hand wound.
Oh, wow.
Yes, it's hand wound. I just wound it, so it's probably at the top.
Yeah, and the crown sits right below.
It's very hidden, which is great because that's what bothers me the most playing tennis. So this watch I play tennis with a little bit, not so much because I don't want to damage it because I know I can't get it again.
Yeah. No, I get it.
And I'm still in the search for the green one.
All right. This is a Vacheron. This is a Series 2, right?
Yes.
And this is a dual time. And
dual time with a honeycomb dial.
Yeah.
Oh, this is like about 3 years ago. I was a lot more like my collection was just like 13 Rolexes, 3 APs, 3 Panerais. You know, like if you looked at me, it's like, oh yeah, you just like got money and you bought watches, right? Little by little, I started cleaning up and trying to get more comfortable with micro brands and starting to learn more about watches. You know, like they say, like the trilogy, like Patek, AP and VC are like the number 1, 2, and 3. I think VC is number 1. I mean, to me.
In my opinion.
Yeah. I had an AP diver that I ended up trading for this.
Oh, all right.
And I met Bobby, and Bobby had his chronograph. So the new, like the latest version of the overseas wears much bigger, even though it's a 42 millimeter. It's just like the case is bigger. And I just fell in love with that one and the size and how it sat on my wrist and everything.
This I remember seeing, I think it was when I met you, you were wearing this watch. It's just a really cool watch. It's kind of interesting because the dial side is on the back and the front is really the back of the watch. But anyway, you could talk about it, but it's a very, very interesting watch.
Yeah, I love this. Actually, yeah, when we met in Jersey at the Red Bar thing.
Yes, at a Red Bar.
So it was the second time it was when we went to see Roman.
Yeah.
And so this is an awesome story because I went to that same show. Remind me the name of the show again. I always it's the
Watch Time New York Wind Up.
I usually just go there and I love like looking at the watches and trying them on, and then I say, I like this one. I'm gonna go research and see if I can get it cheaper somewhere else. I walked in and they're like, "Do you want to try something on?" And I'm like, "There's only one watch." I knew there's only one watch that I like from you. Like everything else, like I'm sorry to tell you, but it looks too much like Lange. So I really like the Pound Inverse, and it's super interesting because you can see the escapement here. You have the small seconds, you have the dial.
This hand engraving, you have the Geneva striping.
Everything is beautiful.
I'm not sure if it's called Geneva striping on a German watch, but whatever. And you have the jewels there.
The jewels. And when you turn it around, there's no escapement here. There's nothing. It looks like a tourbillon finish. It's
beautiful though. Right? It's very, very even, and the finishing is really nice. It looks really cool. And here's another pretty interesting watch. This is a Jump Hour retrograde.
Yes.
Double retrograde, right?
Double retrograde. You have the minutes and the date.
And retrograde. This is an octo.
It's an octo, yeah.
It's on the thicker side for an octo, right? Because of the complications, but
that was before the Finissimo.
Came out, yes. Really cool strap on here. Just a very, very chunky watch.
Yes.
But tell us about it.
Yes, this is another watch that I got thanks to Bobby. Bobby has a Finissimo. It's a two-tone, right? And when I saw it, I was amazed. He brought it the day that we actually met in person because we started emailing and texting, and then I joined the Bahamas group. He had it on, and I tried on. And I had my root beer that night, my Rolex root beer, and I think we traded. We hit a couple spots in Long Island City where I live, and I put that one on, and I was like, "Can we trade for the night?" Because we have like almost the same wrist. So I had that watch on for like 2 hours, and I fell in love with it. The strap is like a rubberized Kevlar. I was told that this was the last watch that Gerald Genta designed before he died, but then I found out that it was a lie. When I first got it, I went to my first Red Bar meeting. I don't know what happened, but while I was trying this watch, the Accutron, people took my watch and they were like looking at it, and then somebody took it and they were like taking pictures and everything. And then when I put it on, it was all messed up.
It was not working.
And I had to, you know, search for help and get a, well, Mr. Reuter here gave me a great advice to call Henry at a watch project, and he fixed it when it's like, I took it so many places and they wouldn't even touch it.
Yeah.
Some places told me
a double retrograde jump hour. Gerald Genta. It has a it's I guess a Frederic Piget movement or something like that. I don't even know. I'm sure it's not very easy to fix,
like some people told me. Oh, then I ended up taking it to Bulgari, and they told me we're gonna send it to Switzerland. You'll get it back like in 6 months to a year, and it's probably gonna be like $6,000. I was like, no thanks.
Yeah. Last but not least, this is a really cool watch from a really cool brand. It's a Chinese brand. I'm actually going to feature one of these watches on my channel very soon. I believe the watch is currently stuck in customs, but I've seen them hands-on before. The bracelet, the dials here. Tell us a little bit about this. I know this was just a purchase that you bought from a friend who was a pilot, and he had this watch in his collection, and he had to get rid of it because of having too many watches in his collection, getting into a fight with his wife. But
very good friend, George. He usually, when we don't want something or we're selling something, we post them in the chat. And you know, sometimes I'm looking at the thing, like, I don't know. And then I got messaged the guy privately, and when I saw this, I was like, me. So. The detail on this watch, everything,
the case back, the micro adjustment. Case back.
I mean, this reminds me for some reason at Sarpaneva, you know, with the weird moon.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the first thing that I thought. The Gyosha dial is beautiful, and when I did the research, I saw how they did it with the lasers and everything. It was like ridiculous. And what's like super cool about this watch is the micro adjustment in the back. I don't know if you've seen
press this button right here.
Just pressing that button,
and it just goes in and out. Which is
sort of like
so smooth too.
It's so smooth. It's sort of like, it's like, I wish like the Submariner, that I have the two subs, and that's like more like, right? And this one is like,
you can do this on your wrist. It's great.
It's perfect
while you have it on,
and it's perfectly a half a link. Beautiful. So that's it.
Awesome, Alex. Thank you so much for coming into Bulova. We're here at the Empire State Building in the Bulova Archive. So this is the Bulova Archive, and they have
this is beautiful. I haven't taken a look, but when we finish, I'm going to take a look on everything.
Take a look
around. Probably buy a few watches too. Do you guys sell here?
I don't think they're selling them, but there are plenty of historic models right behind us.
I'll steal them.
I was going to say, you're thinking about starting your own YouTube channel. I highly recommend just getting into it, and we've had this conversation already. But if you do start a YouTube channel, you got to send me the link. I will put it at the bottom of this description below, so you could definitely link up and follow Alex. So Alex, definitely start your YouTube channel, so I could put a link down below. And this is just a little subsection of your watches, right?
Very little.
Have a lot of interesting watches. One of them is a Festina, which we were going to talk about. We didn't talk about it in this video, but we'll talk about it in the future. Again,
definitely.
Thank you so much, and
thank you for having me.
Thanks again.